Los Angeles encampment, now a tiny city, upset residents say. Meanwhile, the mayor is blaming the homeowner of the property, saying, hey, private property, what's going on? Yeah, what is going on where you allow dozens and dozens and dozens of whacked out homeless people on drugs to just basically set up their own little city within Koreatown, Los Angeles? Let's get into it. Here we go.
A growing and homeless encampment in an empty lot in Koreatown includes multiple large dwellings surrounded by debris. Frustrated residents want the city to do something about this elaborate setup.
KTL.
Is that a monster? Yeah, that is a monster sign. Oh, this is fantastic. They've got everything in here. All of it's in disrepair, but yeah, what do you expect? It's homeless encampment, right? My understanding, and I have seen it, we'll see it here somewhere. We've got a volleyball court-ish, and then also a kiddie pool, a child swimming pool on the premises. Good stuff.
𝗨𝗡𝗡𝗏's Gene Kang is live in Koreatown with more details. Gene?
Hi, Glenn and Lou, to both of you. I've been talking to neighbors in this family-oriented section of town here in Koreatown. They say they are entirely fed up with that massive growing encampment. Apparently, it started off very small in May, but by now, September, it has grown to a little town in their own words. It's located just half a block down this sidewalk, and we've been seeing folks going in and out of that homeless encampment located here in Koreatown on Manhattan Place. Take a closer look. This is Sky 5 video, and neighbors tell me the unhoused and...
Okay, and this was where tents were. Those are all tent indentations, right? Or tarps with stuff on them. So, some of this has already left, but man, look at this. That is just that's some hood going on. That's some ghetto happening. That's some homeless ghetto.
Encampment even has a tennis court, garden, and cooking area going on. The whole thing is on an empty lot located on Manhattan Place. That's between 7th and 8th Street, surrounded by apartment buildings and businesses here in Koreatown. Neighbors say they're not happy.
Massive.
Residents called city leaders to complain the mess that keeps on growing. Others say the encampment has turned into its own little city. But here's where it gets really concerning. The unhoused are allegedly tapping into neighbors' electricity and running extension cords across the street, creating...
What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Shenanigans for days when you've got the whacked out, drug-addled homeless living next door to you, siphoning off your electricity. Not special. Just all the shenanigans that we have come to love and know from whacked out drug addicts living wherever they want within a progressive utopia such as Los Angeles. Oh, here we go.
Fire hazards. City officials say it's complicated because it's located on private property. The mayor's office sent an outreach team earlier this week to try and provide social services, and we have reached out to LA City Council member Katie Yaroslavsky for comment. Neighbors want action, though. This mother said,
could you imagine what this looks like at night? Just wandering around in here at night? Like, say you're staying back over in here. How many rats are running through there? How many cases of Shigella are in here? Dysentery? Maybe the measles? Maybe mumps? Who knows, right? How many women are just being passed around throughout this encampment? I mean, they've got their own little ecosystem here. They've got their own buying and selling of stolen goods. They've got a drug economy. What they don't have is sanitation. None of that. But,
House set 2 cars on fire recently and allegedly dealt drugs in front of her toddler child.
What?
Her toddler.
Oh. I don't believe that for a second.
And the guy,
they blew him up
off as a clean tent area, and then going to the store, they're passing drugs right with my daughter, like just in broad daylight. So that's the issue that I have.
Well, I mean, that is an issue. That is an issue. That's an issue that always happens with homeless encampments, and people want to deny it. Homeless advocates always want to deny that. Well, it's not all of them. Well, it looks like it's all of them in this encampment, because this encampment looks like you know what. It looks like crap, right? And she's got to have her little kid around. Terrible. Here's the mayor.
Look, Mayor Karen Bass's office sent this statement saying, quote, "It is entirely unacceptable for private property owners to allow their lots to become a nuisance and a danger to the community. All necessary city departments are responding to this location to hold the owner accountable and to keep the community safe. Outreach workers are visiting the site to engage with the unhoused." Back out here live, we have talked to other neighbors who say there are a host of different people who go in and out of that large homeless encampment and allegedly deal drugs, cause nuisance.
Yeah, they're called drug dealers, and those are the drug dealer and homeless shenanigans. That's what that is. You've got the whole thing going on here. I mean, and why wouldn't you? You've just given up this residential lot, or whatever it is. Maybe it's commercial, but you've just said, "Yep, have at it. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys can live however you want here. It should be fine." And then city leadership, all they seem to be able to do is, well, this is on private land, so we can't do anything about it. No, you can. If public safety is at issue, you can run train on this. You honestly can. You can make that happen, but nobody wants to, because they've only got tiny little amount of resources to deal with all this stuff. And you've got this stuff happening all over Los Angeles. And what happens is they'll get this one cleaned up, and then these folks will, they'll move to somewhere else, half mile down the road, quarter mile down the road, couple of blocks, maybe next door. They'll move there, set up, and you repeat the cycle until you force these people to get off the streets and into treatment or into counseling or into something. Don't expect it to get any better. This kind of thing is continually just going to happen.
And are aggressive to some folks here in this family-oriented neighborhood. Reporting live here in Koreatown, Gene Kang, KTLA 5 News.
I didn't think we were supposed to say family-oriented anymore. I thought that was a no-no. Know what I mean? Got this long list of words that you can't say anymore because somebody might get upset. F that person. Kind of my thought. F them. People living near a vacant lot in L.A., Koreatown. People living near a vacant lot in Los Angeles, Koreatown neighborhood say a massive homeless encampment has become a tiny city. It looks like it has. I would say a village. I would say urban campers living in an urban village, tiny city setting. Yeah, where there's not a lot of structure, where it's more Montessori in nature, meaning just kind of go with the flow kind of deal, right? With those living in it, even stealing electricity from surrounding buildings. I mean, I didn't see a power pole going to this site, so why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they do this kind of shenanigan? And I've witnessed that personally in so many homeless encampments. And you know what it is? It's like that feeling when you're going to the fair and you got all these power cords and they're all kind of, maybe they'll have like a runner over the top of one of the big power cords so you don't trip on it. But you've got all these cords and you're just like, what is going on here? And then you got the generator going, that you got the generator action going on, and you're like, okay, so generator, it's powering this, and then we've got power coming off, and, the lines coming off the power pole. It's like that, but completely unauthorized. It's like that, but just 10 different shades of shenanigans, right? That's what you've got. That's what you've got. Run by people who are on drugs and literally insane, experiencing moments, right? Continually. Just all kinds of criminal activity going on. But hey, let's let the tiny city just evolve. Residents told KTLA's Gene Kang on Friday, the settlement on South Manhattan Place. Let's take a look and see where it is. Let me show you where it is. All right. So it's somewhere right here, Koreatown. And here's Skid Row. Here's basically downtown LA. We're in Skid Row, Fashion District. Got your commercial center here, Koreatown, up to the Hollywood Hills up here. You get the idea. Laurel Canyon here. Such a beautiful area, and yet it's got so much crap throughout some of these sections. It's just, you're left with, how did things go so wildly sideways? Aerial video from Sky 5 showed the massive urban campsite surrounded by apartment buildings and businesses had several large temporary structures with piles of trash littered throughout, as you do. I mean, what self-respecting homeless encampment doesn't have enormous piles of trash and litter everywhere? Everywhere. Well, on this one, how big is that site? That is a pretty damn good sized site, isn't it? Is that, I'm trying to get a scale here. Is that a 25,000 square foot lot? Is it something like that? Is that bigger than that? No, I bet you it's somewhere in there, right? Half acre, maybe. It's hard to tell kind of looking at this. Who knows? It's not a massive lot because, I mean, you don't have that many units here. So maybe it's 16,000 square feet, something like that. A lot less than an acre. A woman who lives in the area said transients have destroyed property and sold drugs in front of her daughter. We heard her mention that. Hard no-go. But again, this is liberal utopia. This is progressive Los Angeles. And this is what you get. You get a bunch of nut jobs dealing drugs in front of your 2-year-old. They blew up 2 cars. We'll read this part. They blew up 2 cars in broad daylight. Well, I mean, did they blow them up or did they, accidentally get set on fire? Yeah, because in homeless encampments, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And it might just be a mistake because some of the residents, they're a little, and they're doing the Fetty. They're smoking the Fetty. So what you and I would consider normal events in the course of our day, might be the same thing for them. Hey, what happened today? Well, blew up 2 cars, firebombed them, blew them up. But yeah, it wasn't anything big. Those cars, they deserve to be fired. Yeah, he's got whack jobs, right? Other residents say they're concerned about fire dangers. Well, that's a legitimate concern because you look at any city, any good, solid homeless city where they've got a lot of homeless, maybe a Sacramento, an LA, a Portland, a San Fran, a Seattle. And you look at the number of times that the fire department has come out to said homeless encampment, it is shocking. It is shocking the amount of resources that it takes to hold together these homeless encampments from the standpoint of not having all of the residents burn up in one of these fires. Some of the unhoused have been running extension cords across the street to steal electricity, as they do. Totally normal, completely normal. City leaders have been alerted to the matter, but said that one of the issues at the encampment is on private property. Isn't there something in the law that if criminal activity is taking place, they can step in? I think there is. And we all know that this is not sanctioned homelessness on this dude's property. It's just not. It's just happening. And the landlord's like, it's Los Angeles, so... LA Mayor Karen Bass said the city departments are responding and an outreach team has been sent to the area. Well, why do you wait until media has multiple stories on this and then you send an outreach team to the program? Well, because your community is wildly overrun. You've got 1/3 of all the homelessness in the entire United States. You don't really have a handle on what you're, working with. You've got shenanigans happening 10 ways from Sunday, all day, every day. And so without involuntary incarceration or without not incarceration, but involuntarily putting them in a treatment program, putting them into detox, or getting them the mental help that they need, which is probably going to need to be done on an involuntary basis, because these folks, they don't want to leave. Why would they want to leave? They've already created their own dream setup, their urban camping. No fees. Build it and they will come. And they have. And that's what you got here in LA, Koreatown. You've just got a whole bunch of people, urban living, urban camping, the way that they want. And it's throughout California. It's throughout Washington State. It's throughout Oregon that they've allowed this to happen. They've allowed it to happen. Build it and they will come. And by that, I mean the homeless industrial complex. And then when the homeless industrial complex has built out all of its services and nonsense, then you've got the ecosystem is up and running. Because then you've got a system that is self-perpetuating, because all the people that are dependent upon their income for working with the homeless, they don't have an exit strategy for when the homelessness is taken care of. They need to keep it going. So the very people we depend upon to square away these homeless encampments, they have self-interest in keeping it going. Hey, go ahead, live wherever you want. We'll come out and do a little outreach to you every now and then. We're not going to really get you into housing. I shouldn't say that. Some of that stuff does work. But, for an encampment like we saw here, those are people living there by choice. They're living there by choice, doing drugs, doing their thing. And yeah, it's atrocious for the, citizens that are surrounding this mini city. From the standpoint of they get to see all of the actual debauchery that happens at a homeless encampment. It's insanity. You got naked people running around. You got people having sex. You got women just being handed around like cattle because, they're a physical commodity when it comes to the world of drugs and how drugs are bought and sold. And you got purchase and sale of stolen goods, and you got all kinds of stolen goods in there. You got health violations. I mean, the rats that are in this homeless encampment burrowing underneath the tents right now. I mean, that's some epic stuff. And when I say epic, not necessarily in a good way. All necessary city departments are responding to this location to hold the owner accountable. Okay, why now, though? And keep the community safe? But it's already gone well beyond that. It's already happened. This is the problem. This is the problem with all of the big liberal cities, is that they're always working from a defensive position. They aren't able to get out in front of it because I don't think they really want to. They certainly don't have the political will to make it happen. Hey, you don't want to go into housing or treatment? Going to have to arrest you and put you in jail. They're not doing that. They're doing that in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How's that going? Well, they've made some arrests and they've cleared out how many homeless encampments? A lot. That's how it's done. You got to have a little bit of political tough love. You got to have a game plan and you got to make it happen. Not this, all necessary city departments. We're going to send them out there because now that you're doing the news story on it, we look bad. So therefore, we got to do something so that we look like we're doing our job. Outreach workers are visiting the site to engage with the unhoused. How about they do that right when it happened and they don't allow them to set up there? What about that? Oh, we can't have that, Sean. That would be racist. How? I don't even know. But this story, these stories. Let's see if we got something different here. Well, I think that we got to play this one because I want to see the volleyball court and I want you to see the volleyball court. Here we go.
Live in Koreatown where Lauren neighbors are not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy, Juan. And listen, we're a block away from this encampment for one reason. It's not safe. People who live here say they're so scared they don't even want to leave their homes.
Otherwise looks nice, right?
Neighbors say it's a safety risk. 𝗥𝗘𝗏 flew over this large encampment in an empty lot in Koreatown. It's right in the middle of apartments and businesses. Dozens of tents, bikes, clothes, and boxes scattered on the ground. There's even what looks like a volleyball net.
Oh, yeah.
Neighbors say there's a kiddie pool somewhere in there, too.
It's really dangerous. We don't know what they're on most of the time. And yeah.
They're on fentanyl. They're on a little. Every now and then you might have an old timer doing some heroin, but most of the time they're going to be on Fetty. They're going to be smoking the Fetty. Maybe some ecstasy on a strong day. I don't know, maybe a little MDMA, we got meth, the world's their oyster because they're not paying anything for rent. They're just living their life of shenanigans in a lot in Koreatown, and local officials are like, oh, we're sending somebody in now. Well, a little late. How many people are already living there?
We are all shaken up.
Jennifer Racinos lives in the neighborhood with her parents. She says it started with just a few tents back in the spring. Now it's exploded into this massive takeover.
They are taking over the power outages, everything, all the poles here. We're out of power.
So she's talking about power outages, must be blowing a circuit, blowing the fuse, because you've got unsanctioned workers tapping into city power on the power poles. Surprised somebody hasn't been electrocuted. It's probably some disgruntled power worker that worked for the power company, 20 years ago, and he's been smoking the Fetty for who knows how long. And all of a sudden he's like, I can get us power in here. You betcha. All right. And in his drug-addled brain, he somehow works out, and then power outage. Think that's probably the story? Probably.
A neighbor who didn't want to go on camera told us this encampment is a disaster waiting to happen. He says fires have already broken out here and worries it could get even worse. City leaders say they're aware of the situation, but one big hurdle is that the encampment is on private property. That limits what the city can do. Mayor Karen Bass told us in a statement, it's entirely unacceptable for private property owners to allow their lots to become a nuisance and a danger to the community. We will hold the owner accountable and to keep the community safe. The encampment is on Councilwoman 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗜𝗨𝗠's radar, who represents the district and is not happy with the timeline to get it cleaned up. In a statement, she told us, it should not take months of frustration or years of delays before action is taken. The system we have is set up to request compliance instead of demanding accountability. Accountability is what people living here want to see too. Racinos says it's so bad her parents don't even want to leave their house. They don't feel safe on their own street anymore.
They're elderly, so yes, they're very afraid. They're scared that they might get pushed, or, sometimes there's arguments, fights, all kinds of things that you can hear over the other side of the fence where the encampment's going on.
What a
The mayor's office.
Terrible look.
Outreach teams have been out here to help relocate the people inside. But, we were out here all day and we still saw a lot of activity inside that encampment. Reporting live in Koreatown, 𝗪𝗡𝗠𝗜𝗏, KCAL News.
Okay, Lauren, thank you.
Yeah, those folks have zero incentive to move. They know they've already got it set. Free power, free rent. I mean, food is probably brought to them. You've got services that probably come to the area. I mean, the world is just their oyster. Why would they go anywhere? They're able to steal from the Koreatown community, and then barter within their own socialist utopia. Why would they go anywhere else? Cities allowed them to do this. That just drives me crazy, right? Because you just want to say, hey, go in there and clean it up. Go in there, arrest whoever you need to, clean it up, because they're already squatting. We know that. Get them the heck out of there. I mean, could you imagine day one this happened in Texas or Oklahoma? Greg Abbott rolls in and sees a homeless encampment like this, or you know what? Stitt, governor of Oklahoma. I mean, that guy just drops the hammer on homelessness. That's why they don't really have any. They've got a couple of thousand throughout the entire state. Granted, they don't have a ton of population either. California, and specifically Los Angeles, Silicon Valley, and San Francisco, that's where all of the population of homelessness lives. And that's because they've been allowed to. Just, hey, man, whatever you want to do, it's good. It's all good. Now, shenanigans for days, and they impact the residents. And that's what you get. Where do we go from here? Much of the same. They're going to play whack-a-mole for years and years and years till they open up a whole bunch of new mental institutions. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. And treatment centers. I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's too expensive. And nobody wants to take a crack at homelessness because those first few politicians going through, they are not going to be popular individuals. Instead, everybody kind of stands by and goes, we should really do something here. We should do something. You guys want to do something? Somebody want to do something? Somebody want to, reach out to the owner of the property and see if they could, clear out the people from the encampment. It's just so poor. Just drop the hammer, get rid of them, and then you just rinse and repeat. But nobody wants to do that because they're looked at as being, tough on the homeless population. Well, maybe tough love is what they need. I think it is. Because this other way we're dealing with it, which is just shenanigans anywhere, anytime, go ahead and do it. That ain't working either. Too many people dying out there. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode. Till then, have a good one. Bye for now.